For years, we have been surrounded by books, podcasts, and videos promising us the next big productivity hack. From color-coded calendars to the latest time-tracking apps, from elaborate morning routines to sophisticated note-taking systems, there seems to be an endless supply of tools that claim to help us get more done in less time. At first glance, these hacks appear to be harmless, even helpful. Who would not want to optimize their day? But when you step back and look closely, a troubling pattern emerges. The more we chase hacks, the less focused we become. The very tools designed to free us are slowly consuming us. The truth is that productivity hacks rarely solve the real problem. They often distract us from facing the hard reality that focus, discipline, and clarity are what truly matter. A new app cannot do deep work for you. A clever trick cannot replace the uncomfortable truth that progress requires sustained attention over long periods of time. Productivity hacks create the illusion of control, but beneath the surface, they often erode it. They pull us into the cycle of chasing efficiency instead of pursuing meaningful results. One of the most dangerous side effects of productivity hacks is the way they fragment attention. Imagine someone juggling 3 or 4 different systems at once. An app for tracking habits, a tool for managing projects, a digital calendar packed with color blocks, and a notebook filled with daily reflections. On paper, it looks organized. In practice, it is chaos. Every tool demands energy. Every system requires maintenance. Instead of diving into work, you spend your best hours updating apps, reordering lists, and switching between platforms. Focus is sacrificed at the altar of optimization. Productivity hacks also feed into the myth of business. They make us feel like we are doing something significant because we are moving quickly from one clever trick to another. But activity does not equal achievement. A person can spend all day shuffling tasks, setting timers, and experimenting with hacks without ever touching the work that truly matters. Hacks can disguise procrastination as progress. They give us the dopamine hit of feeling productive while keeping us far away from deep, meaningful effort. There is also the psychological trap. Productivity hacks can make us feel inadequate. Every time a new system trends online, we begin to wonder if we are falling behind. We see others posting about how a new method changed their life, and suddenly our own routine feels outdated. This constant chase for the perfect hack creates a cycle of dissatisfaction. Instead of building confidence in our ability to focus, we outsource our confidence to tools. We begin to believe that without the newest hack, we cannot perform at our best. This dependence is not freedom, it is bondage. At the heart of this issue lies a simple truth: focus is not a hack. It is a skill. Like any skill, it must be cultivated through consistent practice, not outsourced to gadgets or apps. Focus requires patience, resilience, and the willingness to endure boredom without running away. Hacks attempt to shortcut this process, but shortcuts rarely lead to mastery. They promise speed, but they rarely deliver depth. And in a world where depth is increasingly rare, focus becomes the ultimate advantage. Think about how true breakthroughs in history happened. Writers, scientists, inventors, and artists did not rely on an endless stream of productivity hacks. They relied on immersion, discipline, and long hours of sustained thought. Einstein did not discover the theory of relativity by switching between 5 different note-taking systems. Beethoven did not compose his symphonies by following a trendy morning routine. They went deep, not wide. They focused. Hacks, in contrast, encourage us to skim the surface of many systems instead of committing to the depth of one. There is also the problem of mental clutter. Every new productivity system adds another layer of decision-making. Should I use this method or that one? Should I time block my day or follow the Pomodoro technique? Should I use this note-taking app or migrate to the next big one? These questions consume energy before the work has even begun. Decision fatigue sets in, and by the time we finally start, our mental focus is already drained. True productivity comes from simplifying, not complicating. Hacks often do the opposite. Perhaps the most insidious danger is that productivity hacks shift our attention from outcomes to methods. We become more focused on how we are working than on what we are producing. The measure of success becomes the elegance of our system rather than the impact of our work. A writer can spend weeks perfecting a productivity routine without writing a single page. An entrepreneur can spend months experimenting with productivity hacks without moving the business forward. Hacks seduce us into believing that the method is the mission. But the mission is the mission. What, then, is the alternative? If productivity hacks are not the answer, what is? The answer lies in principles, not tricks. The first principle is clarity. Without knowing what truly matters, no hack can save you. Ask yourself, what is the single most important goal in my life right now? Until you have clarity, productivity hacks will only scatter your energy. The second principle is simplicity. Eliminate unnecessary tools. Choose one method of planning and commit to it. Whether it is a calendar, a notebook, or a digital app, the key is to keep it simple enough that it disappears into the background. The goal is not to worship the system, but to free your mind for the work itself. The third principle is depth. Train yourself to do hard, focused work without constant breaks. Start small if necessary. Spend 30 minutes on a single task without distractions. Then build up to longer sessions. Depth is like a muscle. It strengthens with practice. Hacks cannot replace this training. They can only distract from it. The fourth principle is presence. Productivity is not just about work, it is about life. Hacks often push us into a mechanical way of living where every minute is optimized but no moment is truly experienced. Focus means being present with your work, but also with your family, your health, and your own inner life. The obsession with hacks steals this presence by turning every activity into a performance of efficiency. Let us pause here and reflect. If you have ever felt overwhelmed by the flood of productivity advice, if you have ever spent more time perfecting your system than actually working, then you already know the truth. Hacks are not the solution, they are the distraction. The real work of life requires patience, focus, and clarity, qualities that cannot be hacked. When I personally stepped away from the constant search for productivity hacks, I noticed something profound. My days became quieter. My mind became clearer. Instead of juggling multiple apps and tools, I chose one system and stuck with it. Instead of obsessing over tricks, I invested my energy into doing the work itself. The result was not just more productivity, but deeper satisfaction. I was no longer chasing the feeling of being productive. I was actually being productive. Here is the paradox: the more we chase productivity hacks, the less productive we become. But when we let go of them, when we strip away the noise, when we return to the basics of focus, discipline, and clarity, we discover a rhythm that feels natural and powerful. We stop fighting against ourselves. We stop wasting time switching systems. We stop mistaking activity for achievement. We start living and working with purpose. So the next time you feel the temptation to try another productivity hack, pause for a moment. Ask yourself, will this bring me closer to focus, or will it pull me further away? If it adds complexity, if it fragments your attention, if it promises shortcuts instead of discipline, then perhaps it is not the answer. True productivity is not found in hacks. It is found in the quiet, consistent practice of focus. At the end of the day, the people who achieve the most are not those who master every hack. They are those who master themselves. They know what matters. They protect their attention. They show up consistently, even when it is hard, and they do not allow the noise of endless hacks to drown out the signal of their deeper purpose. This is why productivity hacks are ruining your focus, because focus cannot be hacked. It can only be practiced. And the sooner we accept that truth, the sooner we can stop chasing tricks and start building lives of true meaning and achievement.